Today, we're looking at a turquoise ink by Kaweco Paradise Blue. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. Down below, there's timestamps so that if there's only certain things you're interested in, you can skip around to it. But if you've got the time, I would appreciate you checking out the entire video. You can also follow me over on Instagram. And if you like fountain pen ink reviews and are new here, I would invite you to subscribe. In order to make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I then put the ink into this Noodler's Nib Creeper, wrote with it for a day, and used it to take the notes for this video. This first writing sample is done with a standard set of paper, Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. Now, there are additional writing samples that will occur later. Now, let's look at the writing sample. I picked this ink up in cartridge form, and to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting, or actually, there's kind of minor ghosting going on here with the extra fine, which is weird, but there's a lot weird about this ink that we'll see. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does offer some very nice shading going on here. The extra fine, I think I switched them again. No? I think I switched them. The extra fine has no, it's a little lighter than the stub. It has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does offer some very nice shading throughout this writing, 7 seconds to dry. Medium, I definitely swapped them. Medium is much darker than everything else on the page, with no feather spread, halo sheen. It doesn't really offer any shading. 15 seconds to dry. Now the scrubby of the extra fine shows some color variation, and we got it. The scrubby of the medium shows none, and we got none. Now brace yourself. Tomoe River. No bleeding. Normal Tomoe River ghosting. So I have to point this out. My camera is focused. Okay? It is absolutely focused. No problems. But the writing's so blurry. The 1.1 is blurry. I don't even want to talk about how, the performance and everything. I just want to say, look at how bad this looks. It's like it's the exclusive ink. I need to put something that just holds focus to show that it's still in focus. It's like it's the exclusive ink of Sasquatch, because the only pictures of Sasquatch or Bigfoot are blurry. And this is what it must write with, because this is bad. This is so bad. I don't want to go through this whole thing. I just wanted to show how bad that was. Rhodia. No bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does offer some shading. My eyes hurt from looking at the Tomoe River paper. The extra fine has is quite a bit lighter than the stub. I'm so thrown off right now with my eyes being so blurry from that paper. Crying out loud. The extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. It offers spots of shading, not too bad, 9 seconds to dry. The medium is darker than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. It too offers spots of shading with 13 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both do show us good color variation, and we get that. I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And what we see is very shocking in that it is all very much still in that line. I don't know if you heard that car just revving its engines going by. It's all very much in that line at the bottom, really joined with the paper. And that line, that pencil line, is where the water went to. so it very immediately bonded with the filter paper. The one on the right that I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it in the water, it looks the same. It really makes you think how permanent this ink must be. Resistance tests are done to see how well this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it might be to clean from your pen. I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it's getting a little washed out from that highlighter. Now, that's not just that it has a yellow background, but it's actually lightening it up some, which is strange considering the chromatography and considering what happens with water. Now, water does have the tiniest bit where it's breaking it down some, and it's not doing everything at getting this ink off the page. It's not doing a lot, actually, just a little. Pen flush is doing about as much as water did. Now, water did not get it out of my pen. Pen flush did. There was no problem after pen flush, and it didn't take the flush and a lot of work. I just put the flush in, took it out, and then was done. The 1/3 bleach solution completely removed it from the page, but you're not going to need it to get it out of your pen. For the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5. with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Now I'm going to link a video where I show how I test it and how I calculate the data. Kaweco's Paradise Blue has a viscosity of 2.84, making it on the very high side of normal, but still normal. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. I average those, and what I found is the average dry time is 17 seconds, with the realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Kaweco's Paradise Blue has an average dry time of 13 seconds, putting it on the very low side of normal, but still normal. Instead of finding inks that look like Kaweco's Paradise Blue, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I went for a nice red, and I chose Robert Oster's Fire Engine Red. The second writing sample is done on TWSBI and moleskin paper. Here we're looking at TWSBI notebooks. Now, no bleeding, minor ghosting, which is weird with it being such a light turquoise. The 1.1 has no feather spread halo sheen. It does offer some spots of shading and some words that are certainly much lighter than others. Now the extra fine is lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no real shading, 12 seconds to dry. This is where it's now confusing because that's the medium. The medium is about the same tone, maybe just a tad bit darker than the extra fine, tad bit lighter than the stub. The medium has no feather spread, halo sheen, nice shading throughout, 11 seconds to dry. They are very close to each other. Such a confusing sample. Scrubby for both, show us a tiny bit of color variation, and you know, there is some. This just, it hurts my eyes. I don't know, it hurts my eyes. Moleskin notebooks. Now we have no real bleeding, we have very minor ghosting. It did very well with this. What in the world? I wrote the top with the extra fine. I wrote the bottom with the medium. I don't know why I was so reversed. I must have put the wrong nib in the pens when I did this. I must have reversed my nibs with these and wasn't paying attention and was just on autopilot. So the top with the extra fine. It has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The medium is just a tad darker than the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 6 seconds to dry. Scrubby shows no color variation, and we didn't get it in the writing, and that is all that I have for writing samples. So what do I think of Kaweco's Paradise Blue? Let's just talk about the blur job that happened on Tomoe River paper. It really did bother me a lot to have lost entirely what I wrote, and it always makes me worry that I will then lose whatever it was. This performed horribly. This message will self-destruct in 10 seconds. So what nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience with this ink? I think you need to use a super wet fine on a more absorbent paper just to avoid it going away. I know that what I experienced with was just the Tomoe River. I think a super wet fine, even on the other papers, is going to put enough down that it's not just going to go away, it's going to be solidly readable. I'm in hate with this ink. I'm going to remind you that I'm here every day with a new ink review. Thanks for watching.